Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, guys. Welcome. Today we are going to discuss about business growth, how you can go ahead, how you can find unique angle to get great results. I'm so excited to discuss a lot more with Mike Swigunski. How are you?
Doing great, buddy. Thanks for having me here. Excited to talk a little bit about online businesses and just earning from anywhere.
Ah, that's nice. I know you live in Thailand. I mean, like it's a dream island. I would like to live in Thailand, but I have family, so many things I can do in Spain. But yeah, in the future, anything can be possible. So, Mike, can you tell more about yourself, experience, background, and anything that could help our listeners to learn more about you?
Yeah, so my name is Mike Swigunski. I'm the author of a book called Global Career: How to Work Anywhere and Travel Forever. Basically, I got started with studying abroad, and then I basically just decided to move abroad. And since then, I've been working, traveling, and building online businesses in more than 100 different countries. And I also helped build a pretty well-known company called Empire Flippers. I was employee number 4 there. And during my time there, we helped scale the team up to more than 100 remote employees. I was in charge of also more than $120 million worth of online deals. And since leaving Empire Flippers in 2020, I've gone on to buy and sell my own portfolio of online businesses, primarily mostly in the SaaS and digital product space. So that's over the case of 15 years. But basically, my whole goal is to help millions of people earn from anywhere. And the way we do this is through 3 main pillars, which the first pillar is people who just need to get a remote job. That's the fastest path. I've helped people double, triple their salary because they're overseas or they're working in the middle of America and they get a high paying remote job. I've seen people double their salaries. I helped a farmer do this in 2 months. So if you're overseas, you can access the US marketplace, get a remote job, increase your income. That's the fastest path to just elevating your income level. And so that's the pillar number 1, is just helping people make more money with remote working. The second pillar is once you've established that, you've been paid to learn some unique skills like working for an SEO agency or working for an online business. You're getting paid to learn skills and you're getting paid better than your likely your day job, your old day job. And so when you're in that realm, there's a few ways to elevate that. And so that's through freelancing or building a side hustle. So that's the second pillar in our global career framework. And so that path has a few different options. We help people basically figure out what strength they're going to be able to align best on platforms like Upwork, or building your own type of offer to sell to, basically build your own business. The good thing about this is you don't have to quit your job. It's not an all or nothing. You can keep your job, and then on the weekends or after work, you can start building your side hustle, increase your income by 20, 30, 50%. And then the last pillar is entrepreneurship. Once you've proven the path, once your side hustle is maybe making more than your day job, then you go all in. And primarily my experience in the entrepreneurship area is primarily through mergers and acquisitions, or M&A, which is buying profitable online businesses. And this is basically what I learned from seeing it every day at Empire Flippers. And then not only seeing it, but actually doing it myself. I've had multiple acquisitions for building my own personal portfolio, and I've helped tons of other people buy and sell online businesses. So happy to dive down any of those pillars and kind of go in any direction that you think your audience would benefit best from.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I have a bunch of questions according to your reply. Yeah, because according to data, 75% of people hate their jobs. It's a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, like most people hate their jobs. And I think it's my opinion. You can correct, you can share your opinion. It doesn't mean that I'm right, but I think people can make the wrong choice. I did many times the wrong choices, so that's part of the game. We make mistakes, but if you are unhappy, for me it's better to leave. I mean, like just leave and find something else. And I don't think that someone will regret about that. If you hate your jobs, if you go there, you get unhappiness, and why you are living for? To be unhappy, you need to be happy. So you need to find the way where you can feel comfortable, or where you like, where you enjoy. For example, I can work on Saturday evening, Sunday night, because I love it. For me, I can replace watching TV, playing online games with my job because I enjoy that. So
Yeah.
for these people who made this wrong choice, what to do now?
Yeah. So I talk to a lot of people that are unhappy in their job. And I also talk to a lot of entrepreneurs who are also unhappy because they've basically built themselves a job where they have to do everything themselves. So again, the grass isn't always greener. And so what I always suggest is like, what don't you like about your job? Is it the income? Is it the people you work with? Is it that you don't feel like you have any impact or control over your time? So we go down this list of questions of like, what is it that you actually like and dislike? And a lot of times we figure out, okay, can we turn this current role into a role that you love? Right? Maybe it's, negotiating more flexibility or hybrid remote work structure where you're just coming into the office 1 day a week or 2 days a week, and that solves a lot of people's problems, but it's not always the case, right? A lot of times what I see is people, they want that, but they also want an increase in salary. They want also to have more of an impact in their role. They feel like they're just a drone going through the motions. And so usually we assess, is this current state fixable, or is it better to start looking for that next step, right? And a lot of times that's the easier option because you can increase a lot of things. You can improve your income, you can improve your like structure, like the amount of work you're doing, the flexibility around that, and then you can also improve the impact. And so this is why I love helping people find remote jobs at companies where they're going to get paid more, they're going to have more of an impact, and they're going to have more flexibility. Because a lot of the smaller remote teams, let's say under 50 people, they have a lot of room for you to have that impact, and they have that flexibility where they're more focused on output. They want to hire somebody remotely, and to become a successful remote company, you need to be focused on output and impact that person or individual is actually having. And so a lot of times just switching to that is going to make the person a lot more happier about their lives, right? And I've seen a lot of crazy transformations. A person who was a farmer, he was making $30,000 a year farming in the US. He had 3 kids at home, and he was having to commute to his farm. So he's spending 6 hours driving all the time, like every week. And so basically that was just not a good situation. It wasn't a fixable situation. There's just no margin to actually like outsource his job on the farm because his income level was so low. So what we did was we assessed, hey, I think you have the skills and mindset. He was young, but he didn't have any education in remote working. And so in that example, we helped him within 2 months find a high paying remote job, 100% remote, where he more than doubled his salary. So he went from around 30K to 75K a year. But just think about it. He now gets to spend time at home with his daughters. He doesn't have to commute, and he's able to provide them with the lifestyle that they deserved and that he'd been working so hard for. So he just changed his environment and completely changed his life. Of course, there's a blueprint to do this, and it took a lot of like reframing your mindset and understanding like there's a strategy to do that in such a short period of time, right? And so that's the type of examples that I see a lot. And also with entrepreneurship, another few examples is people are just, they've been working in the same industry for 30 years. They're just tired of it and they want to replace their job. So I've helped people completely, they buy a passive online business. We structure it so instead of working 50 to 60 hours a week, month 1, it replaces their income. Month 2, they're able to move overseas. I've had people within a few months buy a business, then they're overseas in Thailand where they're spending less, they're making more or the same as their 9 to 5, but at that 9 to 5, they have to give 40, 50 hours. And so they're able to elevate their lifestyle pay less, and have overall a more valuable life and kind of access the dream life that they really want to. So there's a lot of different levers in this industry that can really elevate your lifestyle. And again, if you're able to, the fastest way to retirement by 20 years is just to move overseas and keep your same income level. And so that's one of the greatest things I've seen with geo arbitrage and being able to get out of that environment and essentially just earn from anywhere.
Yeah, nice. Love it. For me, yeah, it's really tough. If someone has the job farming, yeah, and to join Upwork or any other freelance site, to show skills. But even in this occupation, I think it's possible. Yeah, I mean, like people can educate others how to farm right. So they have some special skills, practical skills, not like theory. And I think there are enough requests where people can show the skills, educate others to get payments for that. So just my suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of ways. And what I've seen from somebody like a farmer, they have the work ethic, which is almost the hard part, right? It's hard to teach that. So he had the work ethic. He just wasn't working on the right thing. He had to change the ladder completely. He was climbing the wrong ladder, and taking that work ethic and a strategy and shifting it is a little bit easier than finding somebody who doesn't have the right mindset. Maybe they got a technical degree, but they just aren't motivated. They don't have the right mindset. They don't think that it can work for them. That person, who, even if they have the skills, is going to be a little bit harder, in my opinion, from my experience. So a lot of times it is just like changing the ladder and then giving them the right blueprint and approach. And so, yeah, time and time again, I've seen people who had no online experience, and I've helped them, like, in some cases, make more money than somebody in their family who was a doctor.
Mhm.
So imagine you're in your 20s and you're earning more than the person in your family who's a doctor, and it's your first or second online job. So just by accessing the remote workforce, because they were living in a developing nation and doctors just didn't get paid that much, they were able to earn more than that just by accessing a different workforce. So I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it firsthand, some of these stories. But again, it's one of the things that why I do what I do, why I published my book, was to help people kind of access this different path in life. It's not for everyone, but it's another alternative path that it can be super lucrative, and it can allow you to live a better lifestyle.
Yeah, Mike, I love reading books. I read a lot of books, and I keep doing that because I can get some foundation of human psychology, skills, many things. So it's not the same experience if you uh, consume any other type of educational content, courses, blog posts, videos. It's not even similar to that because
Yeah.
books can bring more value in my side. But I have a huge list of books that I need to read. Very big list. I have no time to read all these books, so I'm very picky by choosing the right book. So, can you give me a strong reason to read your book? What kind of value I can get, and why I need to choose your book than many other books that we have today?
Yeah, so I'm of course biased, and I think my book is really good for certain people and at different stages. When I wrote it, I kind of envisioned my book being for that university. I was writing for myself. It's the book I wish I had when I was graduating university and trying to decide what paths to go down. And since I published it, I've had people who are in their 60s, their 70s, their 50s, and they just, they had a mindset shift after reading it that, hey, I can live this life abroad that I've always dreamed of, but I put it off. And so again, that's the type of person that maybe you want to live abroad. And I know you mentioned you wanted to come to Thailand at some point, right? And so a lot of that inspiration can come from my book. And so what's cool about it is once you read that, I kind of walk you through what are the strategies to do that. You mentioned you have a family. There's a lot of great families in Thailand and a lot of benefits to having a family here. But what I always suggest doing is, walk before you run. Maybe it's not just moving to Thailand. It's, hey, let's take the family for 2 weeks, 4 weeks over to Thailand, see how we like it. try a few destinations. And that's step number one. So just kind of figuring out what's that short term kind of step that we can do in the next year. What can we do? Maybe it's talking to 5 families that are living in Thailand and seeing what's the pros and cons to that. What's the price level? What do you need to do? Because there's a lot of families in Chiang Mai, and there's a lot of pros and cons to moving your family and living over in Thailand versus Spain, right? There's always pros and cons. And I have a whole formula that I walk people through on like how to actually choose a destination and what to look out for. So that's something that I would say. But yeah, I would say check out the book, Global Career, How to Work Anywhere and Travel Forever. It's bestseller on Amazon, over 500 positive reviews. And again, if you enjoy it and you resonate to it, let me know. I love seeing the reviews. I read each one and take each one to heart.
Yeah, nice, love it. Yeah, I'm going to read your book. Thanks for giving this reason. And you read all the reviews, but I remember when I learned from who said that? I forgot the name of this author. I don't know what's going on today, but anyway, he told that he stopped reading his reviews on his books from since 2011 because he doesn't want to know that someone doesn't like his books.
Yeah, I try to take all the feedback, because I want to write more books in the future and I want to create more content. So I try to understand everyone. And again, what you mentioned earlier about books, one thing I love doing is I'll just put on an audiobook, go to the gym, and an hour or two you can be through kind of almost halfway through some books, which is great. So I found that to be like a hack, is like get on a treadmill, put on an audiobook, and then you're like working out, you're just multitasking, which is great.
Yeah, nice. Mike, let's talk about B2B. Software as a service. By the way, I showed my tool in the beginning of this podcast. It's like a great tool, AI automation, and I have similar projects from other people. Can you tell? For example, you live in Thailand. Let's imagine, and you have this experience with SaaS products, with to grow them. So, can you tell about unique methods? I don't think that we have one method that works for everyone. So each brand, each method can have own story. Can you tell from your experience, for example, how you can grow such product that I shared with you?
Yeah. So basically using your business as an example, like what I would do to grow it or scale it. Yeah. So whenever I'm thinking about acquisitions, I'm basically looking at what is the fastest way to grow it. And a lot of times I'm looking for acquisitions where there's missed opportunities because the founder, or usually it's in most cases one developer and then maybe a VA or customer service representative. That's usually the types of businesses that are, a little bit smaller, but they can be valued around $1 million, $2 million and have a really small team. And so what I'm looking for is a few different things. And primarily what I'm focusing on is conversion rate optimization. I found CRO to be the fastest and cheapest way to grow and scale businesses. And so a lot of times the questions when I'm going through a potential acquisition is, what have you done to try and grow the business? When did you test prices last? Have you ever tested prices? And I talked to some entrepreneurs who haven't changed their prices for 10 years. I've talked to some entrepreneurs who, we've had some deals where it was just a one-time fee and that was it. But there was ongoing support needed to run and update this plugin and software. So looking for those opportunities, but CRO is probably the easiest thing. CRO is just, you're getting 100 people in the store and right now it's converting at 5%, right? It's a lot easier to get that conversion rate to 10% through conversion rate optimization than it is to get 100 other qualified people into the store. It's faster and cheaper because within an hour or two, I can make adjustments to the pricing. I can remove friction to actually check out. And then you can add those trust signals to actually make sure that people are converting better. So a few of the things that I like to do is one, just testing prices and plans. So within a second, I call it the like 3-second rule. Within 3 to 5 seconds, anybody who doesn't know about SEO or whatever, they should understand what your tool and product does. So that first line, again, on your website, the main goal is what do you do and who do you do it for? So there's a typical formula I like to use. It's like X for Y for Z. And basically, I do what for who and how do you do it, right? So for you, it might be we basically increase search volume through, SEO optimization for a certain type of industry or businesses, for online businesses, right? So it really calls out exactly what benefit your software has, who it's for, and how does it actually do it. And so within 5 seconds, you can see, okay, this is a tool for me, and I understand the outcome that I'm going to make. And so for your tool, focusing on search traffic is a good outcome, but a business owner, we don't really care about more traffic. We care about more sales, right?
Yeah.
So if you can correlate your tool to we help you get more sales in the marketing and using case studies on the actual sales data, that's the thing that most people want, right? Again, I haven't used your tool in depth. I haven't spoken with your ideal customer, but understanding that ideal customer profile and making sure that you're able to relay those benefits to them in as fast as possible. And then I love price testing. I think most people should price test every quarter. And the reason this is so important is because pricing psychology is a very unique thing. Most people and most entrepreneurs are like, oh, there's this other tool. I'm charging the same price as them or a little bit less. That can work. I think, now with the internet, especially, people are a little bit more business savvy and understanding, competition. But I don't think that's a good way to price test. I think in general, you need to test higher prices than your competitors, because not every person who comes to your website is spending hours. They probably don't know about your competitors. So for me, it's not a great way to price test. And so I would basically, in some cases, we've price test a business that hadn't updated their prices for 10 years. So we did price testing up to 10 times what their original prices were. And so this was the main things we did. And maybe it's easier to give a case study here. So this business was 10 years old. It had a very clunky checkout process, meaning you had to go through a few different steps just to check out. And then when you got to the payment, they would send you an email link where you would have to click it and pay. And then it wouldn't auto rebill you every month or every year. So you're just seeing this whole process and you're like, there's so many steps to get to the finish line. It's crazy. So we try to eliminate that as much as possible, remove as many fields as possible, and also simplify the pricing models. There was like 5 different tiers, and you would need like a spreadsheet to figure out what tier I actually need. And so it just confuses the customers and potential clients. And so what we did was we removed the free tier because we knew that that wasn't converting well. It's a great way to launch a software. It's not always the best way to grow and increase revenue. So we removed the free tier and we just changed it with a 14-day money back guarantee. This whole process basically 4x the business in under 60 days. So we removed the free tiers. We changed the pricing tables. We increased the pricing. We made the checkout a very simple, frictionless process, and we made it automatically billing and auto recurring. Those changes alone, we're able to do it within I think 45 days. We were able to 4x the business. And so that's the types of wins we're looking for. And whenever you're testing something, I always say, try to start off with the rule of 1,000. Try to get at least 1,000 uniques and test 1 or 2 variables before you test again, right? So you need to create that benchmark, have that benchmark, and see how does that compare to your alternative. So typically for you, price testing is probably going to be the fastest thing. I would try that every quarter. And to make it clear, I price test for new users. I typically grandfather in people who've been there. There's a lot of stipulation behind that. I do think occasionally updating those prices for old users can be possible, or just adding features, like new features that are like going to help the pro users and trying to get them to upgrade. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, but I'm curious if you've tried any of those methods out.
Oh, yeah, we tried many things, but it's valuable. It's valuable. I got some interesting insights, so I'm going to use them. But yeah, I played with prices. I played with many things, but yeah, I mean, like for a long time we had some development problem, not even the product problem. So yeah, I mean, like we got some number of bugs. We fixed them. I mean, like it's tough to predict all things that can happen, but development and server yeah stopped our growth for a long time, but I mean, like we solved this problem like last 2 months, and even now we minimize. We still have some errors, but by now, yeah, it works great. By now it works great. So yeah, I mean, like, but what you shared, I completely agree. I love all your points. Yeah, so valuable for me.
Yeah, I think in general, for you, again, you're focusing more on like looking at your pricing, you're focusing more on quantity, not necessarily like a tangible outcome. So, like 10 domains, 1,000 pages, again, that's all great. But in general, people want to focus on what sort of value are they going to have to grow their business, right? So, maybe it can be X amount of leads, X amount of sales, or just using case studies. So, our agency plan case study grew by this much. Again, you can't say it for everyone, but in general, you can find a better correlation for those plans to differentiate, okay, how is the person going to make more money using your product, or how are
Yeah.
they going to get more customers? And so that's something that I would try to shift the focus on the pricing page. You need, I would add more testimonials, reviews, a little bit more details about your refund policy, and then also add in some trust factors about your secure payment. So those things alone will add, I don't know, 10, 15% higher conversion, or adding some description under your agency business plan of like who this is actually for, a short description of like what avatar fits this person. And I would try to maybe, if you really wanted to grow it, I would maybe offer an enterprise and then do a demo instead of a $199 a month.
Yeah.
And so the enterprise, I would just do calls with people, get a salesperson, and then just have managed campaigns where you're doing the all the work for them. And so that can be like a couple $1,000s a month. I think that's the big, likely the big opportunity for you. But again, I don't know too much about your business. I just I haven't played around with the tool too much, but just from like my first sort of
Yeah.
like glance, there's opportunity there for sure.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I love your feedback. Really valuable. It's not like some nonsense. I mean, like, or generic information. It's really valuable. So I'm going to test it. Yeah, Mike. I wanna ask about AI, especially today. I think like it's must have. We need to adapt. And remember when ChatGPT revolution happened, many experts criticized AI. They told, no, no, AI can't replace people. It's impossible. But what we can see today, according to data, 65,000 people lost jobs in big tech companies like Google, IBM, Amazon, many others. For example, Microsoft fired 9,000 people.
Yeah.
IBM laid off 8,000 people. A lot of people, real smart people. Because it's tough to join these companies if you're not smart, if you don't have great skills. I'm pretty sure these people will find another job because they are smart. But I have audience. I mean, like audience um, who wanna start today, and it's tough. For example, like many years ago, people join companies like interns to do some boring manual job to acquire experience. Both sides were happy because who started, they acquired first skills, who got them, they didn't pay a lot and gave some manual job. But today companies are looking for AI agents that can replace interns, and it's tough to them to get these jobs. So let's imagine you don't have any skills, experience, knowledge, but you want to get the first job in your life. You have a dream, you have a big wish to be in this market, to become the
Yeah.
best expert in the world. What will you do if you do everything from scratch?
Yeah, great questions. I think again, like my generation, we had an unfair opportunity because I was born before the internet and after the internet, had unfair opportunity to be on both sides of that. And that internet was like our big opportunity. Right now, AI is the huge opportunity for people. And so you're not going to be replaced by AI. The first step is you're going to be replaced by people who know how to use and leverage AI. Those are going to be the people replacing you first. That's going to be step one. So if you're not learning how to use AI, if you're not using it on a daily basis, you're going to be behind because again, you can learn from people, you can take courses, you can shorten that path. But again, a lot of it just comes down to you got to get the reps of using it, right? So that's one thing is just figure out a workflow that you can learn AI. You can go on YouTube, you can take free courses. There's so much information, but you just got to figure out how to build it into your day-to-day life. I just made a YouTube video actually yesterday about the 3 free certifications that Google will give you. So if you have no money, if you have no skills, there's 3 Google certifications that you can take. You can take these courses. They're really well done. There's the Google Analytics course, which again, almost every entrepreneur now with the new update to Google Analytics, nobody knows how to use it well. Even I like struggle with it, and I've taken the course. It's a terrible interface. It's really like poor. But what you can do is you can take this course and you can go and install it for entrepreneurs. But more importantly, if you want to make money, you install it and you learn how to use AI to interpret the data for growing a business. Hey, this page is getting a lot of traffic. Let's optimize this page to feed into our other pages that will actually get more sales, right? So you're looking at these things and these you're looking at the actual analytical data of a website and understanding the flow and how you can improve that flow to grow the business. And so that's a free skill you can do. You can install it on your own website. You can build it yourself. You can find one client to do a case study for or testimonial and just say, hey, we want to try to improve your sales just by using a free software. We'll manage it and give you insights to implement. And so that's a really great offer. I think a lot of entrepreneurs would be open to that. That's one free certification. Second one is Google PPC. Google Ads has a free course on their PPC network. And this is search ads, shopping ads, YouTube ads, display ads. Like they have 5 or 6 different ad platforms. So you can take their free course, actually put some skin in the game, try to do a budget, sell something as an affiliate, try to sell your own product, try to get leads and just talk to these leads, do something with it so you actually have some proof that you've used it, right? Once you have that, again, do the same thing. You can go to a local dentist, start in your area, find businesses that have money and have a product that's like recurring and something high. So like dentists are great because you got to go there every 6 months. They're pretty established. They usually have a good income. Go to your local dentist and just say, hey, I want to run PPC ads. I want to help you get 10 clients in the next, 3 months. And so what you do is you'll run a campaign for them. You're probably not going to make a ton of money, but you're hopefully not going to lose them any money. And with that strategy, you're going to be able to get a case study, get some experience, and hopefully make a little bit of money on that. And so that's another great way to start. The third way is Google offers just a general digital marketing certificate. And so what you need to do is take the course, learn from it, implement it yourself, and then actually go out and try to, feed that to the marketplace. So it can be through SEO, setting up e-commerce stores, building websites. There's endless amounts of things that you can learn from free courses, but taking the free course doesn't just magically make you money, right?
Yeah.
You got to take the course, implement it, and then bring that to the marketplace. And I love Upwork or LinkedIn for finding how to do that. Upwork is just, people are lower in the funnel, meaning they're ready to buy. They have their credit card there. You can see how much money they've spent in the past. It's the best way to find a client. And again, when you're starting off, you might have to send out 100 pitches for gigs, but after you land those first few, it turns from 100 to 50 to 20 to 30. So really it snowballs. And again, it's hard starting out, and you just got to put in more effort, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. I think like I agree, completely agree with that. I think overlearning doesn't bring anything. I mean, like you need to make your hands dirty. If you learn from courses, from YouTube, from Google, from ChatGPT, doesn't matter. If you learn, just try it. Try all stuff. It's better to learn less, but practice what you've learned and focus, because what I can see when people want to become an expert everywhere in paid marketing, in SEO, I don't know, in social media, but honestly, it's really tough to be the best even in one thing, because many other great experts we have, but trying to become good everywhere, it's almost impossible, because people who craft skills in one specific direction can beat in one side. For example, I check out my skills of adding content on WordPress website with my content manager. She beat me like 6 times faster, and all my content was clumsy, but she did it a good job, high quality adding, because she does only this job every single day. So she's the best on that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think in general, though, like if you're starting out and you're looking to get into this industry or just work remotely, probably the best way to do it is just find an entry level job, because you have the stability, you learn and you get paid for it. And then once you have that skill set, you also get to try and see what you like and dislike. So I think there's a lot of great benefits to starting off working for a company and not just jumping straight into freelancing or entrepreneurship. But again, everyone has different priorities, different goals, different experiences. So you just got to figure out what's the pros and cons and what path is best for you.
Nice. Mike, I have my final question, a very important question for my audience, for me. I mean, like, I'm terrible with forecast, very terrible. I failed to predict an American president. I failed with Bitcoin price. And I remember like 10 years ago, one of my friends came to me and asked, do you want to buy 1,000 Bitcoins? I replied, what is it? I don't know. I'm not going to buy anything if I don't understand what is it. He told, no, it will be a future money, high value. I denied this request. He told, okay, you can take just 100 Bitcoins. I replied, no, I don't need it. Even 1 Bitcoin, I don't need it. So yeah, I mean, like, forecast is not my strong side, but I usually on the second stage. So if ChatGPT, Google, LinkedIn can bring something new to the table, so I can adapt, I can pay attention to that and use all new technologies much faster than competitors jump on that and hope to beat them on that, because I can't create this technology, but I can use them. So, Mike, can you tell about your adaptability to new technologies? So we have AI, we have many things, and it's not even similar what's going on today than like a decade ago, even 5 years ago, because many things are going too fast and we need to adapt. We need to find the right way where to go, especially with AI. Tell your way how to adapt fast and focus on specific direction, because one more thing that I can see, when people get new things and they're trying to try everything. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's impossible. You can't become successful in many things. I mean, like, new releases, new updates, new tools. And I see it's a big mistake when you are trying to adapt to all technologies. You need to focus on specific direction. So tell about your way, adaptability and focus.
Yeah. So I like to analyze certain industries or new things and figure out, is this a fad or is it a trend? Trends are usually going to be long term, things like the internet. A lot of people thought it was going to be a fad, right, at the beginning, but clearly that was a trend that was going to change the world. And again, at different stages, people have a different understanding of which one it's going to be. And it's always easier to talk back, from in history. And the example I like to use is AI versus NFTs. If I had to guess, I think AI is more of a trend than a fad, where I clearly saw that NFTs was likely going to be a fad. I think the underlying technology of NFTs is something that was great, but in general, I just didn't see the buy-in and understanding of how that's going to positively impact people. I can think about 100 different ways that AI is going to positively impact the world by saving time, potentially saving lives. Like now they're using AI. One example that I loved here was for, I think it was radiologists. These are the people who look at X-rays, and essentially they were like, oh, AI is going to replace this. We have AI technology that can actually detect problematic areas from X-rays at a higher rate. And so you think, okay, well, that industry is dead, it's gone. But now there's a huge influx of radiologist openings, and they're paying them more. There's more openings for that. And so sometimes it can be a little counterintuitive. And the reason behind that is because with AI technology, that industry is going to become more affordable, where, hey, maybe they would only request an X-ray if it's very serious. But now with certain technology, we can have AI kind of expand that, do some of the initial things, and then if it is serious, they have it checked by a human. So the radiologists are more in demand. They're getting paid more because it's going to be opening up this industry to more people and saving more people's lives, where in some cases they wouldn't have done an X-ray or had a radiologist do this because it was so costly for the consumer. So I see a lot of industries like that being disrupted. And so you just got to ask yourself, is this a fad or is this a trend? And then what you really need to figure out is, what is your goal? A lot of people aren't thinking 10, 20 years down the line and asking yourself, is this new technology or is this new trend or fad going to help me achieve my goals that I want in 10, 20, 30 years? And so that's a question that I try to ask myself, because I have a mission, I have a North Star. Every question and every opportunity, I can say, does this thing, does this opportunity, does this person, does this, whatever, fill in the blank, does it get me closer to that mission that I'm trying to achieve? And so that mission can change, it can adapt and evolve. But what you should figure out is, like, what is your mission and how can you think about, is this going to help benefit my mission? Is it going to get me closer to that, or is it going to take me further away? Because a lot of times it is just a distraction. It is a shiny object that takes you further away from achieving that mission. So that's kind of how I think about it. It's definitely not something that's easy. It's something you learn over time. And I failed, miserably at a lot of, going all different directions. So I think it's just unfortunately something you have to figure out the hard way.
Nice. Yeah, love it, love it. Yeah, encouragement. Yeah, you can inspire. Definitely, you can inspire. Okay, guys, I just wanna say, my mission is to become happy. Not like wealthy, not like anything else. Of course, it's good to have money. It's good to have like financial freedom. But if you're not happy with that, oh no, I don't need this life. I mean, like, it's better to pay attention to that. So if your mission is related to happiness, then it's 100% you need to jump on that. Yeah. Mike,
That's
it's a big
good.
pleasure to get in my show, to learn from you. I love this experience. So valuable. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Yeah, so I'm Mike Swigunski on all social media. I'm fairly active on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. If you want to get a copy of the book, you can go to my website. You can actually get a free copy of the audiobook if you go to globalcareerbook.com/audio, and or you can just get the physical copy or the ebook, and you can reach out to me and basically find everything that I'm working on my website here below.
Nice, guys. I recommend to anyone to read this book. If you read this book, please leave a review on social media and let Mike know that you learned about this book on this podcast. Thanks again, Mike. A big pleasure. Love this experience. Welcome back anytime to bring more valuable bombs that you can do. So yeah, and let's go ahead. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.